Welcome back! In this lecture, I'll show you how to install Kali Linux in a VM. We'll use VirtualBox because it's free, but if you want you can use VMware as well. The prerequisites are at least 5 GB of RAM and 20 GB free space on your disk. The first step is to download VirtualBox installer for your OS, probably Windows or Mac. The installer can be found on the download page here. So download the binary version for Windows, Mac or Linux. After downloading, run the executable to begin installing the software. The installation process is straightforward, just click on Next a few times and at the end on Finish. We won't go deeper into this because it's really simple. I'd also recommend you to install another piece of software, which is optional but recommended. It's the VirtualBox extension pack. There is only one version for all platforms. So I'm downloading VirtualBox extension pack. It was downloaded and I'm clicking on it. In my case, I'll click on Upgrade, but for you, here will be Install. And it's done. This is necessary if you want USB support or other advanced features. After installing VirtualBox, we go ahead and download Kali Linux. There are three possibilities for the installation. To install it as the main OS, and in this case we download this ISO file, create a bootable USB disk using a special software, and then boot up the machine using the USB disk. A second option is to use it live, and that means that Kali Linux will not be installed on your machine, but will run directly from an USB disk. And the third way is to install it in a VM. There are Kali Linux virtual images for both VMware and VirtualBox on offensivesecurity.com. Kali Linux is developed, funded and maintained by Offensive Security, which is an information security training company. The Kali Linux virtual image will be imported in VirtualBox. So I'm going to offensivesecurity.com and download Kali Linux. I'm clicking on Kali and InfoSec Tools. And Kali virtual image downloads. So I'm downloading Kali Linux VirtualBox images for 64-bit CPUs. This is the easiest way to install Kali. The image comes as an OVA file. An OVA file is an open virtualization appliance that contains a compressed installable version of a virtual machine. When you open an OVA file, it extracts the VM and imports it into the virtualization software you have installed on your computer, in this case in VirtualBox. This is the OVA file I've just downloaded and it's on my desktop. And I'm double-clicking the OVA file. These are the suggested settings for the VM, and you can change them by double-clicking on an item or disable others using checkboxes. For example, if I want another amount of RAM for the VM, I'm double-clicking the RAM item and changing it. Or if I don't want the sound card enabled, I'm disabling the option. You can change these options also at a later time. And I'm importing the VM. It takes a while, but at the end you have Kali Linux installed as a VM. I'm pausing the video until it's done. Kali Linux was imported and I'm starting it. Once started, I can log in with the user Kali and the password Kali. This is a non-privileged user. Perfect. The network card is put into net mode, so I can also access the internet. You can change the network settings in this window. Okay, the internet is working. That's how you install Kali Linux as a VM in VirtualBox. In the next lecture, I'll show you the top things to do after installing Kali Linux. See you in a second.